Hi, today we're going to be talking about 5 secret causes of hormonal acne. So I think that these should be revealed so they're not secret anymore, but they might be a little bit subtler than you are aware of. So let's start and dig in. Okay, so we're going to start at the foundation. So this is going to be unmanaged blood sugar levels. If we have unmanaged blood sugar levels, then we're going to have high levels of insulin that are being produced. And insulin can actually cause our sebaceous glands, which are our oil-producing glands in our face and on our body, to produce more oil. When we have more oil, this is going to create an environment that is making our skin a little bit more prone to acne, which technically is like a little mini infection. So we're harboring a environment that is creating a delicious place for acne bacteria to be able to thrive and have a little party. So if we don't want to have that, then we need to manage our blood sugar levels. And this will help bring our insulin levels down. It will mean that we don't have extremely high spikes of insulin so that we can have our body begin to hormonally regulate insulin, and therefore it won't produce as much oil on our skin that could create that environment. So next I'm going to talk about gut health and estrogen. Both high and low levels of estrogen can contribute to acne. So our gut health is going to be one of the factors that allows our body to get rid of estrogen. So if we're not able to get rid of estrogen very much, then because we have poor gut health and poor digestion and poor elimination, then all of those things can cause backups and we have excess estrogen. So I want to share that both what we eat and our hormones could be a cause of acne. So if we're not eating well and we have poor gut health because we're not eating well, then that can contribute to this high estrogen level causing some acne. But if we have naturally high levels of estrogen and we don't have the capacity right now to be able to eliminate that, then that also can contribute. So they're kind of interconnected in a way, and it could be a chicken before the egg situation, depending on how well we know what's going on inside our body. So gut health is affected and could contribute to lower bile production because there's a lower need of bile for fewer bowel movements. So if we increase bile production, that can help alleviate this, and that is connected with our liver, which detoxifies estrogen. If we also have poor gut health, this means that we'll have leaky gut syndrome. I talked about in one of my other videos, which I'll link right up here, that if we don't have tight junctions in our gut, then we're more likely to have large particles of food pass through, which can cause inflammation and allergic reactions. One of the symptoms of that is acne. So if we have poor gut health, not only could that be preventing estrogen from leaving the body appropriately, but we could also be causing inflammation that is then leading to acne because our gut is not properly sealed and we don't have part of our immune system intact in our gut that's preventing particles that don't belong in our body from entering. Okay, so high estrogen, how can that cause acne in and of itself? So when we have high estrogen levels, what that's going to cause is the testosterone in our body to convert into a different form of testosterone that's a little bit more potent. And so when that happens, testosterone can cause oil production within our skin, and therefore that can lead to that environment that could be cultivating more acne. So if we have unmanaged high estrogen levels, that could be forcing our testosterone towards that more potent form because of some of the estrogen and testosterone balances that we have in our body, and therefore that can lead to even more likelihood of acne. This really would be more of a concern if someone's looking at their detoxification and elimination pathways, because that would mean that our estrogen isn't leaving fast enough, and that's what's causing our testosterone to kind of convert into that different form. Okay, but I did mention low estrogen levels as well. So low estrogen levels, how can those cause acne? those can also cause acne because estrogen and progesterone stay in certain ratios. And so if there's a low estrogen to progesterone ratio, that can also mean that we have less capability, or we're less primed to be able to digest certain carbohydrates. And guess what? Carbohydrates become blood sugar. And what did we talk about at the first point? Insulin and blood sugar. And so if we have low estrogen levels, like in perimenopause or premenopausal women or people who are in menopause, then what can happen is our estrogen levels are low compared with our progesterone levels, and that in and of itself can mean that we can't digest carbohydrates as well. So therefore, we are more likely to have higher glucose levels in our body and higher insulin levels, and therefore that can lead to acne as well. So some women in menopause or perimenopause will experience some struggles with acne potentially, and this could be one of those causes of that hormonal acne. Okay, and so the next is different than some of the other ones, but also the same. So you might think that I'm beating a dead horse, but the PCOS is another cause of hormonal acne. And the reason that PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, is a cause of hormonal acne is that because this can cause deregulation of our insulin response and blood sugar. And so if we're unable to manage our blood sugar properly, we're going to have higher levels of insulin in general. And so that means that we're more likely to develop acne, just the same as if we have unregulated blood sugar levels. PCOS affects how we respond to glucose in our blood, and some of those other factors that are involved in our insulin response. So that's part of how this can affect our hormonal acne likelihood. Also with PCOS, women can have a inconsistent estrogen level, which can cause inflammation. And when we have estrogen that peaks at ovulation, this is one of the things that helps our immune system kind of be a little heightened at that time. But if that's not consistent, then we also have this kind of chronic inflammation or immune system kind of not being as primed or as effective as it could be in certain times. And so then that also could lead to potential acne issues that are caused by this hormonal dysregulation. And last but not least, food allergies. So one of the main causes that we can have of hormonal acne is that we have foods in our diet that are causing chronic inflammation and stress on our body. And so if we have foods in our body such as wheat, soy, gluten, dairy, these are some of the main causes of allergies, but there are other food allergies. And so if someone's interested in doing an elimination diet, I have a guide right here that I'll link so you can watch that video on starting an elimination diet to find out if you have any food allergies yourself that could be causing this inflammation. For me personally, I have found that this is one of the main ways that I have brought down my hormonal acne. And the reason that we can have hormonal acne from food allergies is because cortisol can cause dysregulation of insulin and some of our sex hormones, and cortisol can be higher when we're under chronic inflammatory situations because of food allergies that we're unaware of. So this is part of how our body regulates stress and our ovulatory and our reproductive system. And so because of that, reproduction is decreased when we're under stressful situations, including chronic inflammation or a plague. So some of those things are important to consider and how our body is protecting us. So I really hope that this might be helpful for you in figuring out what type of hormonal acne you might be struggling with. And I'd love to know in the comments what you found to be helpful in managing this if you've struggled with this problem. So again, I hope this was helpful for you. And until next time, be well.